There I am. Welcome, everybody. I got a little fancy today, especially on my stream. But I'm going to put this on. Your Mama Coffee Corner. Subscribe. Let's begin. Getting a little fancy in my old age. There we go. Let's get down to the nitty gritty of the ups and downs of middle of the week. Here we are. So, well, we got that Sun, Mercury, Gazini. Gazinis are not my friend. Just saying. Usually, when there's a Gazini, there's something crazy goes on with me. And I could just just feel the craziness. And usually, moons in Gemini are pretty good because I can get a lot done. But it's really been a trial and error with things. That's for sure. Little stressed out. I feel like those women who are going all over TikTok right now. I don't know if you've seen it. Those women. And one woman's talking that she's making $34 an hour and she still can't make ends meet. And she has to make a loaf of rye bread last a week. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what their financial situation is, but they're struggling to pay the rent or the mortgage. The taxes that are being taken off their check, which are horrendous. I don't know if those who live in Canada, we know how much taxes are taken off our check. But the thing is, it wouldn't be so bad if you saw something from it. I can't remember his name. Anyways, he's big in the United States. He blows the top off on different things that happen politically and stuff like that. But the thing is, in Canada, if you saw real positive things that are happening, like the school system and updating and, real sort of positive things that are happening with our taxes, I don't think we'd feel so bad that, over 30% of our paycheck is taxes. Like, we would be okay. All right, it's going to education, it's going to daycare. It's okay. Women can, the daycare is free, or it's going to education, and that, our university students aren't having to pay through the Wahoo. What is a Wahoo? I know that's a good word, but paying through the Wahoo. Just gonna say that because it's just such a good word to say for schooling. And then my number 2 son, who's in university right now, he has a year left, but he signed up to do pre-colonial literature. Now, what do you think of when you think of pre-colonial literature? Like, I'm thinking of Jane Eyre. I'm thinking of, some of the top literary writers of that time. No, her whole curriculum is on women's study and wokeism. Now, I don't know how that has to do with pre-colonial literature, but it sort of got my son in sort of irate. He goes, if that's what I wanted to study, I would have signed up for it. But he said, because he loves literature, he's decided to take a good literature class. And he goes, I would love to study things like, okay, if she wants to take the information and study, Jane Eyre and women's and stuff like that, and how Jane Eyre got to her, not Jane Eyre, but got to the place where she is now. So, anyways, he's not too happy. And okay, I was going to look that all up and see what the literature is for that. But anyways, I'm not going to do that right now because I can't spell. I'm having a hard time trying to keep my thoughts here. But this is where, with the energies that are coming in, kind of crazy. We were watching the turning, like each age of turning, which is an 80-year cycle approximately, or just over an 80-year cycle. I'm just like, well, that's the cycle of Uranus. Whenever Uranus is circling around and the changes that happen within that energy, and we're looking at it right now where Uranus is, and at the end of Taurus. So being Uranus in Taurus is bringing in destruction. You can go back every 84 years and seeing where Taurus was within those 84 years, and you can see how things have disrupted. Or look at how, when even within the changes and stuff with Pluto going into Capricorn in 2008, and how that really began to change the government and the breakdowns of the governments, and how the government was starting to break down and all our patriarchal systems in Capricorn, because Capricorn is our governments, is our schools, is our institutions, our hospitals. What are we building? What are we creating? That's what that energy is with that Pluto. And it started in 2008. Actually started a little bit before, because as he was ending Sagittarius, bringing in a lot of things in 2005. So there's always sort of like a prelude to what it's building up to. So we have this energy that's coming into, and we've been feeling the prelude of all of the things that are happening. Now, I've mentioned, about how I've mentioned before about not only housing. Let me go back to our, Canada, and all these women going on TikTok and stuff and talking about they just can't afford things. That this is sort of the prelude of everything of the society breaking down. People, who are middle class, people who are, you thought, making good wages, can't afford ends meet. They can't afford to it. So we're seeing, and especially with where Pluto is right now, and he'll be going back to 27 degrees, which is going to be a huge disruption within the United States, and how that's going to totally disrupt everything there, and bring in things like bank runs. We're going to see more bankruptcies when it comes to different corporations. We're going to be seeing a lot of things starting to dismantle in the world around us, and you're seeing it, and it's already started quite a few years ago before now. Hey, Shar. So we've seen this is we saw the preludes of everything that was happening up to now. So I mentioned back in 2019, I mentioned in 2018, starting, and even in 2017, I was saying about markets and things about markets. And you keep on hearing me say that. What was that? What was the downfall? And this year coming into 2023, where I said, okay, things are going to kind of look like everybody's sort of doing okay, because it's sort of like, okay, we're trying to make things sort of hum along, but here we're coming in. That's why I said in my thing, is this an up or a down? Because it's kind of like they're trying to hide things. Same with, this is really the last year for people to do any great travel. So if you're going to do any traveling and stuff like that, yes, there's still going to be travel, but people are going to be paying for it because of whatever carbon tax, whatever, why don't we just make solar planes? I think that would do, or electric planes. Let's see how well that does. I don't know, but let's just try it out. I don't know. I don't want to be the first one on an electric plane. You can leave that door open now. I don't want to be the first one on an electric plane. Just saying, or in San Francisco, they have self-driving taxis. And people are like, oh, it's okay. No. There's something to do with, I don't know, having somebody there driving. I don't know. It's just like, okay, let's have a self-driving horse. I don't know if you've ever been on a horse that decided to drive itself. Does not end well. So here we are coming into this energy, and it is crazy. When I said about no man's land, and then you see what happened at what is it, Burning Man? I didn't even think of that. I didn't even know Burning Man was going on. Tells you how, how cool I am, right? I didn't even know that was happening. But now it's like, wasn't a mud fest, ended up now they're trying to get the fuck out of there. Because it doesn't take long. Once the sun comes out and it starts to dry, it dries up just like immediately, right? So now everybody's trying to get the hell out of there. So that's the thing. Why would you go to Burning? I don't know, Burning Man. People who go there, let me know, hit me up, let me know what your 411 on the whole thing. It might have been fabulous back in the day. And even FEMA showed up. Now there's things on TikTok about that. They're showing about Ebola showing up in there. So and I've seen other TikToks where people are walking around, they don't even know what the hell other people are talking about, but then they could be high as fuck. Who knows? Not saying everybody does drugs at Burning Man, but it could be there. It could be there. Just saying. I'm not sure. I wasn't there. Um, just not that I've ever been to a music festival to know that there's drugs very prevalent. Anyways, so we have this energy that's coming in. We have that sun gazini. And what's changing the facts? And that moon, that 3/4 square moon, that's squaring not only the sun, but it's also squaring Mercury. And it's where it is on the other side. The sun has passed. So now Mercury's on the other side of the sun. And that happens, and I think it happens in Leo, Virgo. I can't remember what the other one is. Oh my goodness gracious. But anyways, when it's on the other side of the sun, when it's on the other side of the sun, it's like when it's before the sun, it's gathering information. Here I am, I'm getting the information. Once the sun passes over, it's like, here's the information. Here's what you're getting right now. And it's a lot of information that's being found and the answers. So there's a lot of information that's coming through. It's like you're going through all the files, like, here, the sun's now going through all the files of all the stuff that's coming through. And you're finding, holy shit, there's this. What else is there? What else is there? What else is there? It's like all of this information. And this could be bringing in a lot of emotional anxiety stimulation. Yeah, got it yesterday. Oh my God, the amount of information coming through and the things just learning about doing things. And it's just like it brings in like, whoa, look at this. And then something else hits you and it just throws you off for a loop and it just accelerates you onto another level. So it's finding the best of what is solid, what solid energies that you can grasp onto that are positive, that are good, that bring you forth to a place that is bringing you a grounding. And this is where, with projects, with relationships, this is all coming in with all this different energies that are doing a mix mash that's feeling sloppy, but you don't want it to feel sloppy. You want it to be a beautiful sauteed sauce, not sloppy joes, not sloppy joes. And this is, very interesting, with everything that's coming in, and where even though Venus has gone forward, I don't feel any difference. And she's going to be off that 12-degree mark soon. So she's going to start moving, which will be nice because that movement is really going to have us set into a direction and coming into more of the heart-centered energy that we would like to come into, and feeling that, because right now we might be feeling torn. We might be feeling, because that moon is out of bounds. So the moon is not sitting with the rest of the planets. It's out of bounds. So when the moon is out of bounds, our emotions are out of bounds. Our inner core is out of bounds. We don't feel grounded because the moon is our emotional balancer. It is our internal core. The sun is our outside. Here we go. Look at me. I'm so organized. I'm so this. I'm so that. Whatever it is, wherever the sun is, it brings in the attributes of our outside stuff, where the moon brings in our internal. So if our internal is feeling out of bounds, not grounded, and we're feeling out of sorts and we're all over the place, it could bring in turmoil. It could bring in anxiety. It could bring in heightened stimulation on things. So this is where we got to look at what's happening, because our lovely little Saturn in Pisces is bringing in the subconscious, and wanting to be aware of what's coming in subconsciously to consciously, and it's a hell of a mess. Just saying, it's a hell of a mess. And we're going to start seeing things getting a little bit crazier than the crazy that's already here. We just heard of Birmingham Bank going bankrupt. One of the largest banks in the UK, and the whole Birmingham is going bankrupt. One of the largest cities in the UK. Like, what? Like, this is, and they're blaming businesses, which I find kind of interesting, because if you're opening a business, your business is there to provide not only a service but to make money. And okay, I'm going to make money. I want to pay into my system so I can continue my business, so things go well, right? But whatever the business guys were paying into the city, it's not going anywhere. It's just like right now in New York. New York is set with, what is it, a for all the immigrants that are being sent there, and they're not legal, they're illegal immigrants that they're sending in there, making up makeshift little parks, like taking over parks, not like, and there's privately owned parks in New York, just by the way, which is kind of like, and they're locked. Interesting. I want to go in and take a look at these locked parks. But anyways, there's parks, and they got to go to public parks. So they're putting people in these public parks in like shanty towns. So shanty towns are now coming into New York City. Yay, that is always a positive thing. So making shanty towns, making these little makeshift towns, when they have over 30,000 vacant apartments, that and the city owns some of those, that they don't want to open up because it'll cost too much money in repairs. Yet they're going to be spending and taxing the people, the taxpayer money, billions of dollars, to put them up in shanty towns. I don't know. Does this make sense to you in your mind? Because it sure in the fuck doesn't make sense in my mind. It's like me paying 30% of my taxes to the fucking government, knowing that, you're paying this Ponzi scheme of 30% into your CPP and EI. And most of the time you can't even fucking get it. Or for those who are paying for it now, like my children, you ain't going to get no CPP. It ain't going to be there for you. It's going to be gone because the government didn't take care of it like they said they would. The trust that we have in our government, because we trusted them so much. This is where it's at. This is where it's at. This is the craziness of the energies that are coming in. And this is the upside down whirlwinds that are happening right now, that are creating strife, that are creating being overwhelmed, that are creating for people to get into the high anxiety and stuff like that. This is the physical. This is the peace disrupting the peace. This is peace that you want the peace in within your physical world, but it's disrupting, and there's a lot of disruption of peace right now, and people are feeling it. People are feeling that the ties, these little things that are just pulling, these knots, and it feels like, okay, I can undo this knot. It's like you put a chain down, if everybody had those little fine chain jewelries, and you put it down, and you're like, how the fuck did it get all those knots? All I did was put it down for like 2 seconds, and it's all full of knots. How did that happen? That's the way it's going. That's the way people are feeling. It's like I just let it go for just 2 seconds, and now everything's gone to pot. Everything's gone, crazy. So this is where the subconscious, unconscious, mental lock, and we're feeling like, we're going into Looney Tune land, and then to go into Looney Tune land, you got to be a Looney Tune in order to go to the Looney Tune land. Because if you're not anywhere, if you're not loony enough, if you're just trying to be level headed, and you're going into Looney Tune, you ain't going to survive, because you got to be a little bit loony to go into that Looney Tune. And this is where the wheel is spinning. The wheel is spinning. And this is where a little tyranny or is impulsive. This is where it's intense. And that Pluto, when it hits that 27 degrees, it's United States Pluto return, and it's hit a few times, and it caused a little bit of disruption in the States. I don't know if you noticed, but you think the States is bad. Canada isn't even talking about half the fucking shit that's going on in Canada and the craziness that's happening here. That's people's mortgages are like 43% of their wages. 43%. That's not right. Food costs are up over 25%, higher than what they are in the States. The States is already high, but we're higher. which is taking more of our wages. So people are feeling it. They're feeling the lack of security. So this is so important to find that grounding, to find that peace, and to understand that things are loony and that sometimes you got to be a little bit abstract to really get into where you need to get into. So keep watch. What is reality? What is truth? And not getting into too much of the cray cray of it all. So let's pull some cards with this craziness. What I'm thinking of doing, and I just, what am I thinking of doing? This is what I'm thinking of doing. Starting, and I'm going to do this, and it's going to start next week. And I am going to come online, and I'm going to do a little mini thing on, and it's going to be free. Just a little mini thing on and stepping into your intuition. You know, it's going to be about an hour long. It's going to be on Tuesday. I'm going to come in and we're going to talk about intuition and stepping in and how can I tap into my intuition. So I'm going to be coming in Tuesday evening, and it's going to be around 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I live in Alberta, so right now it is 10:16 my time. So figure it out for where you are. We're an hour ahead of the Pacific, so it'd be 9:16, and we're 3 hours ahead or 3 hours behind East Coast time. So wherever you fit in all of that, I don't know. Oh, my husband made me another cup of coffee. Thank you, thank you. It's in my Bumblebee one, and when it gets hot, it changes. Isn't that cool? Love it. So here we are. So we're going to be doing that starting next week. And so I'm going to do intuition, and then we're going to do another week. We're going to do intuition, and then we're going to bring in the tarot, and we're going to do little things like that. Start building, start bringing it in. Will people get a reading? Probably, because when I'm teaching, I always give readings. People always get a little reading. I just, not you. So if you join in, it'll be from about 6 to 7. You have questions, I'll be online, I'll be on YouTube, I'll be on Facebook, and I'll be on also on Instagram. I can't do lives on TikTok because I don't have enough followers on TikTok to do that. I'm not even monetized on YouTube right now. I don't even know if I get monetized on this station because I did get a strike last year in 2012 that I spoke about something that I wasn't supposed to speak about, which didn't go over too well with the powers that be of YouTube and the gods of YouTube. So we're going to try and see if I can do other things. That's what I'm learning. I'm learning these things. So let's pick some cards. Here we go. 6 of Raphael. So it's 6 of Waters comes in. So the 6 of Waters, 6 of Waters is always the melancholy of remembering the way things were. Remembering, oh, this was so great when it was like this. This was so wonderful when it was this. And it's like rekindling relationships and, creating new friends. And it can, there's an emotional exchange with it. But it also, when I think of the 6 of Cups, it's also is that we can get lost in that melancholy, in that remembrance, in that time that was. So you can get lost in all of that. And that's where, many times when things get a little bit crazy, things get a little bit, oh, I remember this when this happened. I remember that. And it was so much better. And all of this, right? So this is where you got to really watch where that's leading you. Are you getting delusional with it? Because we do have, Neptune is retrograde in Pisces. We also have, lovely Saturn in there in Pisces that's retrograde. So we can get lost in a lot of things of the way it was, right? And get lost in that sort of space energy of it. So you don't want to get lost in the space energy of it. And with it comes the Queen of Raphael. So more, the Queen of Waters. That means you really got to be strong within your intuition. You got to be strong and follow the heart and follow that energy of the heart, because the 6 can get sort of mushy with the heart and the head, and you can get a little bit all over the place. So really come forth in trusting in your intuition and saying no. Because when you know, it's that knowingness. The head isn't there, it is down here. The head doesn't go into that feeling. It is in the heart and in the gut and in your solar plexus and sacral. Like, no, this is the direction I know I have to go, and this is what I'm doing. So believing in that, knowing that, and saying, no, I'm not going to get lost in the old stuff. I'm not going to get lost in that craziness, because perspective comes in. Oh, you got to love the fucking hangman. The hangman is just like, the hangman is like having you look at things and know that you got to trust that intuition, because there is a better way of doing it. The hangman is hanging there. Nothing is holding him up. You know, he's got one leg. If he has good abs and he's been doing his Pilates, he can sit up, right? And most of the times, you know, when you look at that, yeah, he's got good abs. He can sit up. It wouldn't be like me. I'd be stuck there hanging with my one foot, still hanging upside down, because I don't do Pilates, and my stomach is just not going to pull me up the way I want it to pull up. I'd be stuck there for days. Trying to find a new perspective on things for days, just days on days. Anyways, but this is daring to be different, daring to step out, because you're seeing things in a new way. So when I say it's a Looney Tune, you got to get a little bit of looniness in yourself in order for you to try it and do it differently. Do it in a way. There might be some ground rules that you need to understand. You know, it's, you know, I got Space Jam in my head. So understanding where all of a sudden Michael Jordan realizes that he can do things in Looney Tune land that he didn't know he could do, right? He didn't know he could stretch his arm out so wide, so long in order to do things, right? He didn't, you know, it's like everything has started to click in. Oh, well, I've got to be a little loony in order for me to create this, in order for me to win the game. So that's where I'm getting, you know, if you haven't seen Space Jam with Michael Jordan, not the new one, don't watch the new one. It's not as good. But my grandson likes it. But anyways, I don't like anyways, watch the one with Michael Jordan. It's a lot better. Then we can get into the wheel. That means it's going to make things change. So things will be changing up once you get into that new perspective and get a wee bit into the Looney Tune and understanding the rules of Looney Town. And that way you're going to be able to create the things that you need to create. A change in direction is happening. I mean, who is it? What is that? Uh, iPhone or Mac is coming out with the new AV goggles. Um, and so that's coming out where you're going to be able to use them not only with your iPhone, but you're going to be able to use them with your Mac computer and stuff. Um, so that's going to be very cool. And you may not even need to use that with the new AV goggles. It's going to be, you're going to be able to have the screens, like I've always seen, the screens are in front of you and you can just scroll. I mean, how I got like how not narcissistic, but how crazy you could get with that. That could be a good thing, but it could be a bad thing. If you're an introvert, man, you could get lost in worlds on worlds on worlds with that, because then you don't see anything else that's around you, right? You're in your own little bubble kind of thing. That's the scary part. But there's all of that that's coming in, and understanding, like I've been playing a lot with AI and learning about AI and how to use it, and especially with my Canva, and learning more about Canva has just been I could do these things with it and I didn't even know. So fucking awesome. Just changing things up in just like a matter of seconds and stuff like that. And yeah, it's just so learning all of this, you can learn so much. I mean, this is just watching different YouTube videos, and when they're doing the tutorial, working along with that tutorial and doing what it is that you are wanting to create. That causes me like, whoa, and I just get like, yeah, get kind of cray with that. So there's that's happening. What else? There's just so much. There's just so much. Just saying. So we do have a lot of changes that are coming in, getting into the newness, getting into that, knowing that there's going to be a lot of new beginnings that are happening. Um, and those new beginnings, I mean, you're looking at the banks, new beginnings with different banks. Did you know that your company can have its own credit card? Didn't know that. It's just you could become your own bank. Crazy as that. So there's so many new beginnings and things that are happening here, and learning how to utilize them, learning how to create that. So this is where it's like out of something that's devastating and horrible, what can I create out of that horribleness? When you see the housing market in Canada be so outrageous, I mean, it is outrageous here in Canada that it's like people say it's gonna fall, it's gonna fall. I haven't seen it fall yet. Like, I mean, for me to see it fall, that means that $400,000 house, which is not even it's a 400. Okay, watching TikTok, watching too much fucking TikTok, that's for sure. Watching TikTok, and there's a $10 million house not far from downtown Toronto. Wasn't spectacular. 3 bedroom. I think it had a bath and a half. Downstairs was done. Not a bad, just an average looking house. It was built in the 50s. Okay. Had modern updates and stuff like it was $10 million. Like, to me, that house has to go back down to $27,000. That's a market crash. That means everything else has to crash. That means we got to come back to reality. Because right now, we're not in reality. We're not in a real world. We're in some artificial, crazy, looped up, fucked up nuttiness of a world. And so many people are trying to, oh, it's okay. We could go along with this. No, this is where you really have to come out of that and get into the reality and learn how to use the looniness. Just saying. So there you go. Welcome to Looney Tune. You guys all have a fabulous day, and may the Lord and Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you. Sign up, sign up, sign up, because I have the pub crawl, the ghostly pub crawl at the end of the month. We also have, what else do we have going on? We have the virtual retreat, the Vision Board virtual retreat coming up in October. And then we're going to be starting the little mini free classes next Tuesday. Yeah, so it's going to be fun. Let's just continue on growing and continue on being loony. So with that being said, I want you all to have a fabulous, fabulous day. And like, subscribe, be a part of the channel. There we go. Bring that in.